yes, no, not givens. So the first thing that you should do when you see multiple choice, as I've said in other videos, multiple choice are super difficult, but they do help you in one small way, in that they often tell you where they come from. And then very often, if you know where the multiple choice come from, that can help you to find where the other question types come from. So what you got to do is, that's in the 4th paragraph. You need to go and find something about paintings of a chair and find where number 31 is. You would kind of expect it to be in the 5th paragraph. So that's 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th paragraph. So I looked over here for paintings of a chair, but it's not there. So I went back and found it over there. So that means the multiple choice ends over here. And that probably means that the next question type is going to start over here. We can confirm this quite quickly, because if you look at these, you'll see all of these names. So looking at this paragraph, you can see that all of these names are there. Right, so then you need to decide, are we going to start with this or are we going to start with this? I don't think it makes much difference. I would probably start with this. But you can start with this if you want, it's up to you. So let's go and find all of these names. Colton, Cope, Wiggins, Hofstadter, and Moffat. There's nothing here, there's no name. We can look for audiences later. So there they are over there. You can see the last question spills over into this paragraph. Now, although this is difficult, it's quite nice because there's a lot of marks just in the one paragraph. And it means you're not going to have to do a lot of reading and finding many sentences. Often you're just going to be comparing one sentence. And then the other thing I want to say before we even start with that is, they don't say that you can use anything twice. So that means that when you choose one, you can delete it. So it's very important to try and find the easy ones first so that you can delete them. So I wouldn't start and try and answer the first one. Just take a look. Try and find the easy one first. So let's see what Colton says. It's important to consider the long-term view when. Now here they're talking about other people, so it's only this sentence that we need to compare. You can zoom in on that sentence pretty quickly. What do they say? Colton, he doesn't believe that it's right to measure the machine creativity directly to humans. Humans have had millennia to develop our skills. Millennia means thousands of years, a long time. So that's the long-term thing that they're talking about over here. Consider the long-term view when. So he doesn't believe it's right to measure machine creativity directly to that of humans. Now on this first one, you should get to know these quite well. So go through them one by one carefully. Generating work indistinguishable from humans, maybe, because we see humans there. Knowing whether it was work, maybe. Producing work entirely dependent imagination of the creator, I don't think so. Comparing humans and computers, maybe. Technical details, no. Persuading the public to appreciate computer art, no. Discovering it was the product of a computer program, no. So you're going to read through these carefully. You need to know these well. That first one was one of these three, I would say, because the word humans is there. I think we can do it. I think it's straightforward enough and easy enough to actually do this one first. Now, the important thing in this particular question type is these verbs. You need to know what these verbs mean and who did them, and that will help us to find the answer. So what verb are they using in this? We shouldn't measure machine creativity directly to humans. I want to focus on that. Measure directly to. Generating, it's not generating. Measure is not generating. So we're not talking about creating or generating. Knowing, measure is not really knowing. But comparing, measure to, measure compared to, they are similar enough. So he's saying when we compare machine creativity computers directly to humans. We should remember the long term. So I think that one was easy enough to do it straight away. Normally I would skip that because I'm just going through them, but I think it's quite clear that we're comparing and we must consider the long-term view when we compare. So I'll just go ahead then and fill that one in. And remember then to delete it. Right, next. This software surprised people by... What did it do? How did it surprise people? So here they introduced this software for the first time. It's a program. Not only did it create these, but also classical composers, including these famous composers. The audiences were moved to tears. It means they started to cry. And this program fooled the experts into thinking they were hearing genuine Bach music. So how did it surprise them? Very important here is to look at this verb, look at this verb, look at this verb, and see who is doing this verb. In this example, the software did the verb. So the software generated work, the software knowing whether it was human, the software producing. I didn't see anything about technical details. I didn't see computer art, maybe, but the software didn't persuade, only people persuade. And the software didn't discover. Anyway, I think that one is a bit tricky. I'm going to skip it. He criticized Cope for not doing something. Here's criticized. He blasted it. He blasted Cope. He criticized Cope because it was pseudoscience, that means fake science, and condemned him, so that's criticized, for deliberately vague explanation of how the software worked. Now you needed to know what vague is. Vague means not clear. So he was deliberately, he didn't explain how the software worked. Let's see if we can find anything about that. And this is for not doing something. We're not looking at generating. We're not looking at knowing. We want something about not explaining. Not producing, that's the same as generating. And not revealing is good. That's explaining. He did not explain. Persuading, no, and discovering, no. So he didn't reveal the technical details of the program. He didn't explain how the software worked. I think that one's easy enough to understand. He claimed that EMI was, what did he say about EMI? Said that it created replicas which rely completely on the original artist's creativity. Again, this program created replicas which rely completely on the original artist's creativity. Created, generated, yes. Nothing about humans. Knowing, no. Producing, created, good. Entirely dependent, rely. Imagination of its creator, original artist's creativity. That word there helped us a lot because depend and rely are strong synonyms. I've often seen them use depend and rely as synonyms, so make sure you know those. So this one I'm also quite confident about, that Hofstadter was C. The audiences became angry after. When did the audiences become angry? Here's audiences here. When they found out the truth, they were outraged, and one even tried to punch him. So they became angry, outraged, punched when they found out the truth. Now you need to know what is the truth. The truth is, and for this it's a bit difficult, the truth is that this program created the music and the people thought it was created by real people. But again, let's look at our verb. The audiences found out the truth. Audiences didn't generate, The audience is maybe knowing whether it was possibly that one. Persuading, the audience didn't persuade, but discovering, that means found out. Knowing, not really found out, discovering. So they became angry after they had discovered that it was the product of the program. Again, it's the verb that helps us here. Quite confident that that one is G. The participants in his study had to assess music without. Okay, let's move. I want to go back to this one. How did it surprise people? The software didn't know. The software didn't persuade. The software generated work that was indistinguishable from humans. So I can go back, and because I've deleted most of them, half of them, it becomes easier. So that's A. And then that helps us a lot because it's just 2 left. The participants without. The participants didn't. They didn't what? And it's there. The participants weren't told whether it was by humans. If they weren't told, it means they didn't know. There was nothing there about persuading. So the participants didn't know. So yes, this was difficult, but I think if you just went through it carefully, tried to find the easier ones first, and then went back and did the more difficult ones, you could have picked up some marks there. And it was very important to look at these verbs and see who was doing the verb, and then try and find the synonym for the verb in the text. That would have helped you a lot. Okay, let's start with these yes, no, not givens. So we'll start with the circle words. Target language. If you don't know what that is, please go and watch my true, false, not given video and you'll know what it is. It's in the grammar and strategy section. So maybe pause the video now if you want to. I'm going to put up the circle words. Okay, so these are what I think the target language is. The first one, it's on this on the verb, may help explain, but specifically this may. It's a modal verb. Modal verbs are can, could, would, should, all of those. Sometimes they do a true, false, yes, no, not given on a modal verb. This one, it's quite clear what the target language is. They often have a some or an all or a none, and they're testing that. But with this one, it could also be on this adjective. Often in true, false, not given, yes, no, not given, they test an adjective, and just to see that you know the meaning of the adjective. Then this last one, couldn't really see anything. So when you can't see anything, very often it's just on the verb. Did it or didn't it? It's a did it or didn't it sort of question. So did it cast doubt? Did it cast means throw, or did it put doubt, or did it not? Great. So it's quite easy to find where they come from. EMI is there, but we're starting with Moffat because they're talking about Moffat's research. So will it help to explain, or will it not? Might it help? May help? And it's a very difficult, typical reading 3 question, not very clear, and that's where your answer is over there. The study provides a clue, and a clue means it won't definitely help. A clue means it might help or may help. I think the answer to this question lay in the meaning of this word, clue. So if you want to understand this question, find out the meaning of clue. And then you will see that a clue means maybe it helps. So that means yes, if it gives a clue, it might help, it may help. Now, the non-experts, did they all respond in a predictable way? Did some of them respond in a predictable way? Did they all respond in an unpredictable way? Or don't we know? So where do we see non-experts? He asked musicians and non-experts. That's just describing the experiment. We want to see how did they respond. They were asked, that's also still describing the experiment. Here's the results. So it's somewhere in here, if the answer is there. People thought the composer, they disliked it. Nothing about non-experts. This was even true among the experts, who might have been expected to be more objective. So how did the non-experts respond? We don't know. It's just not there. So that's quite a clear not given. Then finally, the cast doubt. Did his findings cast doubt on his theory? So we need something that's kind of negative. So here he is here. And this is very difficult because you've got to know what he says and what this theory was. So his experiment showed that people enjoy an artwork if they think more time and effort was needed to create it. And Paul Bloom says part of the pleasure we get comes from the creative process. We like art because of the process that's gone into it, the time and the energy and the work that's gone into it. And he says we like the artwork if more time and energy has gone into it. So these two things agree with each other. And this are essentially what we're comparing. We like it because of the creative process. We like it because of the time and the effort. And those two things are the same. So, in fact, those two theories agree with each other. It doesn't cast doubt. It actually supports Paul Bloom's theory. So that one is no. But if you got those two, you could probably just guess that it's no. Really 99% of the time, if there's three, one will be yes, one will be no, one will be not given. So if you can find two easy ones here, two of the easier ones, do those ones and then just guess the third one, it would be a good guess. Alright, let's look at the multiple choice. Right, as with all of the multiple choice, you'll see I go quite quickly through these multiple choices because there's really not that much that I can teach you. The multiple choice are a real test of your understanding of a whole paragraph and your reading speed. I can't really show you many tips and tricks. For example, let's look at this one over here. What is he saying about computer produced work? What they mean is in the whole paragraph. What is he saying about it here? This is the problem often with multiple choice. It's not focusing in on one sentence. It's what is the writer's message in this whole paragraph. In English we have a saying which is you need to read between the lines. And that means you need to look at what is he not saying? What is he saying behind what is he saying? Why is he saying all of this? What is his basic message? So what is he saying over here? There's a growing number of computer programs which possess creative talents. And then what he does is he lists three things. For example, classical music. 2, another example, artworks. And then 3, a third example, all to support his point. This is actually a list paragraph that looks like that. This is the point that he's trying to make, and he gives 3 sentences to support his points. So there is a growing number of computer programs which are creative. That's what he's trying to say with this whole thing. This is all support information. This is the real information. So what can we see? People's acceptance can vary. I don't see that. Progress has been attained, yes. More than others, he doesn't compare them. Not as significant, he doesn't compare them again. What he's trying to say is this: a great deal of progress has been attained. There is a growing number, and then he gives evidence, 3 examples to support the fact that this progress has been made. The number is growing. So you see, how can I teach that? What tips and tricks can I give you there? Really, there aren't any. You needed to understand all of this, and you needed to understand the structure, and then you needed to ask yourself, what is his message? What is he trying to do here? And then choose your answer. People will say, what about elimination? There was nothing about vary, eliminate that. There was nothing about more success, eliminate that. There was nothing about significance, eliminate that. Okay, fine, but there was nothing about progress either. So eliminate that. I don't see the word progress there. So elimination, maybe it can help with some of the easier multiple choices, but with one like this, it doesn't help. Anyway, so multiple choice is just terrible. That's why I say to students, leave it until last. Don't be afraid to just go B, 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 B. and save yourself a lot of time, because I've seen so many students spend 10 minutes on multiple choice and then they get 1 out of 5 anyway. So it's just a waste of 10 minutes. You might as well have just gone C, get 1 out of 5, maybe 2, and save time. Right, so let me just show you where the rest of these are. So we want to find Geraint Wiggins, and why are many people worried? This one is not so bad because it's one sentence. Here's Geraint Wiggins, and here's it scares. People are worried. It scares. Why are they scared? And the answer's there. So that one wasn't so bad. It's just a one sentence multiple choice. They are worried it's taking something special away from what it means to be human. What is it? This is robots or computers doing artwork. Something about what it means to be human. It's inferior, no, it may, nothing about the future, undermines a fundamental human quality. That's your answer. And it will deteriorate our ability, no. So definitely C, it undermines a human quality. Next up, what is a key difference between Aaron and the painting fool? Find Aaron. Again, this one is quite nice because it's just one sentence. So unlike Aaron, the painting fool does this. So there they're telling you the difference between the painting fool and Aaron. Only needs minimal direction, a little bit of help, and can come up with its own concepts by going online. It can get material online by itself. Programmer's background, nothing. Public response, we don't know. The source of its subject matter, yes. It goes online. Technical standard, we don't know. So C, definitely. Where does it get its material? Online. This goes online by itself. What point does he make in the 4th paragraph? So this is all just background about this other software, and here is the point that he makes, and it ends over there. So your answer is in this section here. What is he saying? People have double standards. That means they judge one thing one way and another thing another way toward these two. And then he just gives an example. And he says that should be the same. The key is over here. People have double standards. They judge it in different ways. And that's it over there. Different criteria, double standards. These ones, if you look at them, you'll see you can delete them. And the painting of a chair, we saw that earlier. Why does he refer to the painting of a chair? An example of what? And it's over there. This should actually be a whole different paragraph, really. It should be that software bugs can lead to unexpected results. Then he gives the example of the paintings of a chair. Software bugs give unexpected results. A software bug is the same thing as a technical glitch, and this gives the work an eerie, ghost-like quality. Was it positive or negative? And they mean it in a kind of a positive way. It's a striking effect. He doesn't say that it's skill. He doesn't say anything about resembling, and he's not talking about the problems. He's talking about the effect. So that one was A. All right. So once again, sorry I can't help too much with multiple choice. It is what it is. Let's move on to the next test. Hopefully we'll have a nicer reading one. This was quite tricky.